The word came in the morning, as Grace Cruz and her children gathered at the family home in Boyle Heights on Christmas Eve, 1943. Her oldest son, Jacob, was dead. A telegram from the United States Marines said the 18-year-old private was killed in action but divulged little else. The ongoing Pacific campaign meant Jacob would be buried in a temporary grave in the Tarawa Atoll, where he and more than 1,000 other Marines and sailors died fighting the Imperial Japanese Army. Weeks turned into months and into years. The military finally admitted it couldn't find Jacob's burial place. His name was etched at the Courts of the Missing at the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific in Hawaii. Jacob's family tried to honor him for the rest of their lives. Grace opened a diner named after him in Boyle Heights and kept his letters, newspaper clippings of his death and his medals, a Purple Heart and Silver Star, among others, in a cosmetics case. His 4 siblings shared stories of their brother with their own children, some of whom joined the military. Nephews who never knew their tio tattooed their arms and legs with his name and face and years of life. Grace died in 1974, and Jacob's siblings followed until only 2, Isaac Cruz Jr. and Ruth Soto, were left. Tears eventually dried, replaced by a longing for closure the family assumed would never come. Then, in April of last year, Ruth's daughter, Ruthie, received a phone call at work. Jacob was coming home. The news was so impossible to believe that she hung up mid-conversation to gather herself. Born in Arizona, Jacob Cruz moved to Boyle Heights with his family in the 1930s. As the oldest son, it was his job to help out his single mother, a Mexican immigrant who worked as a cleaning lady at White Memorial Medical Center. She had to give him permission to enlist since Jacob was only 17 and a junior at Roosevelt High School. She didn't want him to sign, Ruth said, but he said, "I have to go to protect all of you." He wrote dozens of letters while at infantry training at Camp Elliott in San Diego in 1943, all addressed to Ma Plus family and usually signed General Cruz. Jacob teased his oldest sister, Esther, about her love of hair dyes and asked for pictures of her newborn son. He asked his younger sister, Olga, to send him home-baked chocolate chip cookies. He threatened Isaac Jr. with a kick in the axis if he didn't stop bugging their sisters, and he told Ruth, "Don't forget to write every day from now on." The teen was short, barely over 5'6", and lean, with a stern face that made him seem far older than his years. "He was terrific," said Ruth. "Just so responsible but loving. A happy-go-lucky guy." His last letter came on October 29, just before Jacob's division shipped off to the Pacific Theater. "Please don't worry about me, Mother, because I am fine and healthy," he wrote. The last 6 words were bolded. On November